Hi guys, I am here today with the MJX X601H. I would like to go over what each button does on the transmitter. I'm going to bind the quadcopter, the hexacopter. So let's you do that by turning the hexacopter on. It has an on and off switch right here. You just turn it on and you will start seeing the lights blink. Then you can turn on the remote, okay, and then you go up and down. Here with this left stick you're gonna go up and down, okay. Alright, had to do it twice, but normally you just have to do it once, and the lights stop blinking, which indicates that the hexacopter is linked to the transmitter. So you're not going to be able to take off just like this. This one has a mechanism that allows you to initiate the motors by pressing a button. So that is what this button, the red shoulder button here on the left, that's what it does, is it starts the motors, and it will help you land as well. So I'm just going to show that real quick. So the motors are going. It'll just sit there as long as you don't give it any input. To shut off the motors again, if you want to shut them off, you go down on your throttle, and by going down on the throttle you turn off the motors again if you don't want to take off. Okay, so that is the button right here, left shoulder button, initiates the motors, and if you're flying and you want to land, you can press that button too, and the hexacopter will land. The second button on the left side, shoulder button, allows you to turn on headless mode. If you press that button once, it'll shut off the lights. If you press it again, it'll turn the lights back on. It also can put the hexacopter in headless mode. So for that, you hold the button down for a couple of seconds, and the transmitter is going to beep, and the lights are going to start flashing, and your hexacopter is now in headless mode. With headless mode, you can the hexacopter's front is no longer the front. The front is wherever direction you give it with your right. So if you have the hexacopter facing this way, but you go forward like this, the hexacopter is still gonna go in that direction. So regardless of where the hexacopter is facing, you are gonna be able to control the hexacopter. Once it's in headless mode, to turn off headless mode, you press that button one more time. You hold it down for a couple of seconds, and the lights will stop blinking, and the hexacopter will no longer be in headless mode. While you are in headless mode, if you're in the air and you press this button, the second left shoulder button, your hexacopter will return to you. That's called one key return. So that is also a feature that can be done here with the second left shoulder button. On the right side, you have a flip button, which is the first right shoulder button is used for the hexacopter to flip. That means that it'll do a flip when you press this button. And the second button allows you to change speeds, and it has a low and a fast speed. So the way you do that is you would just press it, and one beep and for the low speed, and two beeps for the high speed. And you can do that while you're up in the air or while you're on the ground. We have our sticks. This is the most important part of of flying. Okay, and I'll just quickly explain what the sticks do. Normally we fly in mode 2, which means that with the right stick you're gonna have something called your pitch, which is this movement, and your roll, which is this movement. With the pitch, when you go forward like that, you pitch it forward, the hexacopter is gonna do this, and it's gonna go forward. When you pitch the hexacopter backwards, the hexacopter is going to turn back like this, and it's going to go backwards. When you roll to your right, the hexacopter is going to roll like this to the right and go right. When you roll to the left, the hexacopter is going to roll to the left. So that's the basics of the right stick. That's all this does. With the left stick, you're going to have two different movements. You're going to have what's called yaw and what's called roll. Yaw and your throttle or elevator. So with yaw, what it means is this movement right here, and what it does is it makes the hexacopter rotate on its axis. So if you yaw to the left, your hexacopter is going to start yawing. It's going to start turning on its axis to the left. If you yaw to the right, the hexacopter is going to start turning on its axis to the right. And finally, for the throttle just controls the hexacopter going up and down. So if you go up on the throttle, the hexacopter is going to rise. If you go down on the throttle, the hexacopter is going to go down. So those are the four basic movements controlled by the sticks. You have your pitch and your roll. You have your yaw and your throttle or elevator. And so those are the four basic movements. All quadcopters and all hexacopters, for the most part, are going to have those four basic movements. With this hexacopter, you also have some trim buttons. Trim buttons can be used when the hexacopter is first bound to the transmitter, and you go up in the air, and it starts and it favors one maybe going forward, backward. It just favors one side more than the other. Then you can adjust with these buttons, this button, this button, that button. You can adjust more or less your pitching, your roll, and your yawing, your throttle. Most of the time, they do not need to be adjusted. That is pretty much it. This particular transmitter has a green LED here that lets you know that the hexacopter is bound to the transmitter, and it has a small LCD screen here showing you what channel you're using, the mode that you're in. I'm in mode 4, but I need to be in mode 2 right now, and the percent. And what this little bubble here shows you, if you're in low speed, the bubble is empty. If you're in the high speed, the bubble is halfway full. So that'll allow you to know too. Also, whatever movements you make with your 50% is where it sits. This hexacopter has altitude hold, so it sits at 50% with the sticks. But if you go down, you see it goes down to almost 0. If you go up, it goes up to 100%. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys got something out of this video, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be looking forward to answering them. Check out some of my other reviews of other quadcopters and hexacopters, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.